guys, it's Faye. I'm looking to make a video for you guys. Testing. Hi, this is yoga in the time of pandemic. So just sit tall, just anchor through your sit bones, pressing into your hands a little bit to bring your chest up a little higher. Drop your shoulders away from your ears and just come into yourself. Allow your eyes to close or just go half-mast. Just find the rhythm of your breath. Bring your awareness to how long your inhale is and how long your exhale is. Just letting your attention settle within. Find that breath rhythm. And then we're going to begin to move on the rhythm. So take your arms out to the sides, maybe open your eyes. You can also do this with eyes closed. Reach the arms up overhead on your inhale, breathing up and in, and exhale, bringing the hands back down. And arms up. And back down. And just keep going. Next time your arms are up, clasp your hands, interlace your fingers, and then press up. Keep lifting tall. Try to make more and more space inside the spine, breathing in. And then a few breaths here. Keep trying to maintain length in the side body. Bring your hand down, left hand down, and lateral stretch over to the side. Turn your chest up a little bit towards the ceiling, maybe looking up underneath that armpit. And come back up. Interlace again, maybe trying the other thumb forward. Lift and create length. Pressing down to the sit bones. And then release your right hand down and lateral stretch to the right. Little twist of the chest towards the ceiling. Nice energy through the entire arm, all the way through to the ends of the fingertips. Just open up that side rib, breathe it open. And then come up to center and bring your arms back down onto your knees and settle again. Just noticing the difference that made. Maybe you feel a little more alive in the torso now. Good. And then we're going to come up to hands and knees. And we'll take a few cat-cows, open the chest, tailbone lifts. And then as you exhale, round into cat pose. And speaking of cats, here's my cat Clive, one of them, who may join us for this practice. And exhale. If you feel like holding in any position, like holding for a few breaths here in your cat with the tailbone tipped up, you can do that. If you feel like holding in cat, pressing. And then come back to center. And then move your knees a little further back, and then we're going to start to take the hips down towards the mat, over to the side, back, and over to the side. And just go completely free form here. Like, do what feels good in your body. Kind of undulating. Here comes the cats, the other cat. So they'll be a part of this whole thing. And then reverse your direction. And then coming back to neutral, bring your knees apart, your toes together, and back into an active child's pose. So you're reaching your hands forward and stretching, forehead down on the mat. And then coming up, bring your knees back underneath your hips. Hip width distance apart with the thighs and the feet. Tuck the toes under, push up and back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Really root through your hands and get all of the energy up through the arms into the upper back. Lift your hips, maybe come up onto your tippy toes, get your hips high, high, high. And then let your heels drop, but never compromise on the position of your back. You want your back to be as flat as possible. Breathe, maybe starting a little Ujjayi breath, the little whisper at the back of the throat, a little constriction to control the flow of the breath. And then come forward to high plank on your inhale, pushing through the hands back to downward facing dog on your exhale. And take this a few times, warming up the back, the abs drawing in away from the mat, active legs, pushing back through the heels. Forward and back. And then on this next one, you're going to come hold your plank, open your chest, tap your right knee down, pick it back up. Tap your left knee down, pick it back up. Right knee down, pick it back up. Left knee down, pick it back up. Go back to downward facing dog. And then walk your feet forward towards your hands with a soft knee. Hold your opposite elbows. Shake your head out, yes and no. Go side to side, just easy. Just letting the spine drop, letting the head, the weight of the head really take the whole spine down in this direction. Shake it out. And dropping the hands to the mat, come halfway up into Ardha Uttanasana. Then a little higher still, bringing the spine parallel with the floor. Bring your hands to your hips. Really open through the chest. And your knees can be bent here if you need it. Come all the way up, hinging from the hip crease with a flat back. And come to standing. Coming into Tadasana at the front of your mat. Just gonna take my shirt off. This is gorilla, or as my husband calls it, brute force. Just very simple and unproduced. Good. Now pushing down through the heels, through the toe mounds. Lengthen your tail, but keep your thighs pushing back so you maintain that lower back curve. And then pull up through the front. So you're drawing the abdomen up, but you're not tucking your pelvis or getting too long here. So you really want to maintain your lower back curve. Draw your shoulders, shoulder blades onto the back, and inhale the arms overhead. And exhale forward. We're going to take 3 Surya Namaskar A, halfway up, flat back. Step back to plank. Lower down, slightly forward and down all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes. Shoulders roll back. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, release to downward facing dog. Through high plank if you want. Downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Drawing in on the abdomen, strong in the arms, strong legs. Taking one more breath. You can step, walk, or hop to the front of the mat, inhaling into Ardha Uttanasana, the flat back. Exhale, fold all the way down, and then inhale, rise, sweeping the arms up, and exhale. We're gonna take two more of those, sweeping up, and if you wanna add a chaturanga, exhale, halfway up. Right here, stepping back to plank, lowering to chaturanga, and then pushing or flipping the feet over into upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Activating your Ujjayi breath. One more breath in. Blow it out, look forward, bend your knees, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, flat back, exhale, fold, inhale, rise, and exhale. Again, inhale, and fold, and halfway up. And stepping back, high plank to low plank or to the belly. Upward facing dog. You can either flip your feet, push them back. Downward facing dog. Starting to build a little heat here. Little tapas. Fiery enthusiasm for your practice. One more breath. Blow it out. Then step forward, halfway up, flat back, and fold, and then rise. Sweeping up, arms overhead, and exhale. Good. Back to Tadasana. Just take a moment with yourself, find your center again, the rhythm of your breath. Then inhale the arms overhead. And fold forward. Come halfway up. Step your right foot to the back of the mat. Coming into a crescent lunge here, but stay down with your right hand underneath your shoulder and then twist out to the left. So you're drawing that left shoulder back, pressing into the mat, and take the top arm up. Keep lifting the right hip away. And then we'll release the hand down, step back to plank, lower down either to the belly or to chaturanga. Come to upward facing dog or cobra. Shoulders are back and down. Exhale, downward facing dog. And on the next breath in, you're gonna walk, step or hop forward, coming into a flat back, and exhale, fold. And inhale, rise, sweep up, and exhale, hands down, good. Coming to the other side for that. Inhale, sweep up, exhale, fold forward. Halfway up, nice and long through the spine. Bending the knees, stepping the left foot to the back of the mat. Getting nice and even in your lunge position here. Left hand grounds either on a block or the floor. Rotate that right shoulder back. Rotate the ribs, take the right arm up. You don't have to take the arm up if it hurts the shoulder. You could still just have your hand to your low back, or any modification that feels better for your body. And then release. Step back, plank. You can lower to chaturanga or to the belly, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Breathing here, sit bones up and back. Take one more breath. Exhale and step through or hop or walk. Halfway up, flat back on your inhale. Exhale, fold, and inhale, rise. Sweeping the arms up and exhale. This is your practice. You get to adjust and modify anything you want for your body, what feels good in your body. If it doesn't feel good, please respect that and adjust accordingly. Come into Utkatasana, chair pose. Sit bones are back. Drawing the rib cage in. Let's just lift up the heels a little bit. Come down a little deeper. And then heels back. Bring your hands to prayer position. Put all of your weight on your left foot, and we're going to bring the right heel up towards the bottom, and then push out warrior three. You can keep your hands at your chest, or you can take your arms reaching out. And we're going to step this back into the lunge. Step back, arms overhead now, drawing the rib cage in, pushing back through that back heel. The back knee can be bent if need be. Reaching back with that heel. We'll take a prayer twist now, bringing the palms to the chest. Stay nice and open in the chest, hinge forward, and spin, hooking the elbow beyond the knee, pressing the palms towards the heart. Open the top shoulder. If you want to, you can open up the arms or not, just keep the prayer position, whichever works for you. Nice. Release your hands to either side of your foot. You're just going to hinge the hips back, straighten that front knee. If you need blocks here, get the blocks, or books if you don't have blocks. If you can't extend, if you're way up here, you know, get something that's this high and put it there. Okay, and then we're going to bend forward into this left knee, bring the back knee down, and then drop a little further, but keep pressure in the left foot, pressure in the back knee, and imagine you're trying to pull the mat apart. As you come up, you're lifting up through the pelvic floor, and take the arms overhead. Draw in on the belly. Really push the mat apart with your two contact points. Take the head up, the face up towards the ceiling, and then release. You're going to take the hips back into Ardha Hanumanasana. That's a half split, flexing the left foot, extend out over the left leg. Again, if you need blocks, something to ground underneath you, that's fine. And then looking up, slide this left heel back, step into that foot, step back, downward facing dog from here, forward to plank, and lower all the way to the belly. Point your toes, bring your arms by your sides, palms down, Shalabhasana. So find extension through the low back, activity in the legs, draw the shoulder blades away together and the shoulders away from the mat. Lift the upper body, activate the legs, the gluteus muscles, the upper gluteus, they're right here, and then reach back through them. Don't worry about how high you go. Just think length and activity in the legs. We're shooting energy, prana, through our body, awareness. Reach through the crown of the head. Fingertips are down for now. And lower the cheek down to one side. Rest for a moment, just adjusting. Just feeling the breath in the body. the beating of your own heart. And bring your forehead down onto the mat. Hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Activate your abdominals by pulling away from the mat. Activate the legs. Push up, plank, and downward facing dog. Finding your Ujjayi breath, your even breath rhythm, Samavriti. Look forward, bend your knees, and step forward. Halfway up, flat back. Fold down. Uttanasana. Inhale, Utkatasana. And come up to standing. And back to Anjali Mudra, standing in Tadasana. Samastitihi. Bring your arms by your sides. On your next inhale, Utkatasana. Sit bones back. Lift the heels slightly. You might be able to drop a little deeper into that hip crease. And then rock back on the heels. And then folding forward. Uttanasana. Nope. Come back up. Utkatasana. Hands to prayer position. And then all of your weight on your right foot. Lifting the left leg, bringing the heel towards your bum. And then extending out into warrior three. You can take your arms forward or leave them at your chest, whichever you prefer. And then step back. Find your lunge. Really feel active in your legs, that you feel into your ground so that you're really solid with your connection. Bring your hands to prayer position, hinge forward, and we'll take the prayer twist on the other side. Pressing the hands towards the heart, active in the back leg, and then opening up if you wish. Bring the hands back down to either side of the foot, and then straighten your front knee. The back heel is still lifted here. This is a variation of pyramid pose. Extending out over the leg. Push underneath the big toe. And then bring your back knee down. Okay, letting the hips drop forward. Press really strongly into this front foot. And press back with that back leg. So you don't want to just drop all your weight down into your hip. You want to suck up a little bit, create some muscular engagement. Take the arms overhead. Maybe looking up. Maybe bringing the palms together in Anjaneyasana. And then release. Bring the hands down and then hinge the hips back. Ardha Hanumanasana. Extend over the leg. And then hands can ground on whatever you have available. Hello, Martha. This is yoga with Martha and Clive. Oops, and Martha's now scratching the chair. Okay, we're going to slide this heel back, step into the foot, step back, find plank again, lower all the way to the belly, And then arms by your sides. So we'll do Shalabhasana here. Lengthen first. Really find where your pelvis is connected to the mat. And then draw your shoulders away from the mat. Lift as much of the upper body away from the mat as you can. Activate your legs. Point your toes. Reach back and lift. Get nice and long in the back of the neck. Reach the crown of the head forward as if you were trying to touch something in front of you. And then lower down, put your cheek on the other side. And bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes under. Activate your abs. Draw your shoulders away from the mat. Pressing up into plank and to downward facing dog. Taking one more breath. Bend your knees, look forward, and you can step or hop. Come halfway up, flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Sweep the arms up overhead, and exhale, release. Good. Nice. Just find your breath again, your connection with the ground. Come back to Tadasana. And we'll inhale up. Hastasana. Exhale, fold. Come halfway up. Now all of your weight comes to your left foot. Raise your right leg up, standing split. This is where the hips are facing the ground. So the leg is not going to go as high. Reach, reach, reach. Try to maintain. And then we're just going to turn out the foot and the leg into a warrior one leg. And when you step back, make sure you're not crossing over your own midline. So one heel is on one side of that line, and the other heel is on the other side of an imaginary line going down the center of your mat. Hips stay forward. Bring your arms up into warrior one, but yeah, just good. Activate your glute on the right side. See if you can just get a little tension there. Nice and deep, pressing the mat, peeling the mat apart, pushing the mat apart with the feet. Really press into that back leg. And then swing your arms back around behind you, open up your chest. So we're just gonna keep the rib cage in. We're not gonna disengage it. We're gonna just draw it forward into the body. And then hinge forward. Bring the head towards the inside, the knuckles up and over. Keep drawing back on that left hip. And release the hands to either side of the foot. Step back, downward facing dog. Now bring the feet about a foot apart. Okay, we're going to do a side plank with one foot in front of the other. So as you come forward, you're going to spin onto the right edge of the foot, the inner edge of the left foot, and then extend upward. Really squeeze the underside of your waist. You're trying to get at those obliques. So really open up, squeeze the underside of the waist, and then take your top arm over your ear. Nice. Come back to downward facing dog. And we'll go to the other side. So really active in the legs, active in the belly, draw the ribs in, really stable in the core. As you come forward, you start to spin from the hips. Arms come up. Lay back. And then taking the top arm over the ear. Squeezing on the underside of the posture. And back to downward facing dog. Let's come into a child's pose for a few breaths, knees wide, toes together. Coming back up, bring your hands back towards your knees. Just sit in Vajrasana for a moment. That's sitting back on your heels. Let's just sweep the arms up overhead and then twist to your right, bringing the chest and the ribs to the right. And then take the hands down. If you can't reach behind you, you can always grab a block or just, reach back there. Come back up and go to the other side first, using the obliques to twist you first. And then you can use a little bit of pressure. Opening up. Bringing the shoulder back. Come back up. And then bring the hands forward through table. Back to downward facing dog. And then just walk your feet forward. Monster walk, I call this. Forward. And then let's hold around behind the calves, bending a little bit into the knees so that the ribs can rest towards the thighs. Let the head drop. And then pressure on the upper arms with the calves, and upper arms into the calves as you come forward into a deeper forward fold. And then lift, flat back, hands to hips, all the way to standing. Come back to Tadasana. Just establish your ground again. Establish your connection with your breath in your Tadasana. And we'll inhale the arms overhead. And exhale, fold forward. All of your weight on your right foot now, lifting the left leg back and up into standing split. You're certainly welcome to balance here if you would like. And then turn the top leg out, not too far. Stepping back into your warrior one, nice and long. And then the hips stay relatively squared to the front. Not completely, because it's just not anatomically possible. Arms overhead. Nice and connected through the legs, through the feet, pulling the mat apart. Pulling up through the abdomen. Active abs, active interlace, open the chest, and then hinge forward and down. the knuckles up and over. We'll release hands to either side of the foot. You're going to step back to downward facing dog. And another round of side plank. So feet a little bit further apart for this. Really active, creating a little bit of tension through all of the fascia so you can maintain the pose. Come forward as you spin to the right, right hand, right outer foot, inner left foot. Side plank, squeezing on the inside, underneath waist, right waist, arms reach. And then up and then back to downward facing dog. Let's go to the other side. Spinning as you come into your plank. Lift the hips. Pushing into the feet, leaning back. Top arm over the ear. Reach, reach, reach. And then arm overhead. And back to downward facing dog. We'll take another moment in child's pose, knees apart, toes together. Any arm position you want, either arms by your sides or forward, just relax everything. And just pick up your torso, walk your hands back, knees together. Coming into Vajrasana again. And take your arms overhead, turn right, twist right, bring your arms down. Looking back over the right shoulder. Come back up to center, twist your torso to the left, and then back over the left shoulder with the gaze. We'll come back to center and then back to table and then downward facing dog. Sit bones up and back. And then just walk your feet forward towards your hands. Coming into Uttanasana. Let's take the big toes this time. Wrap the two fingers around. Come halfway up. And then as you exhale, elbows out to the side, drawing the torso down. Push into the big toes and pull the fingers away. Try not to cock your wrists. Breathing, letting the attention settle. And then release, stand on your hands this time, all the way up to the wrist creases, come halfway up, and then exhale, draw down. Wiggle your toes a little bit, try to get some space in the front of those wrist joints. And then release. And then come up flat back, hands to hips. Open your chest as you rise. And back to Tadasana. Okay. So let's take a little bit longer balance pose. And first off, just starting with Ardha Ekapada. Ekapada. I forgot. Anyway, lift your right knee up. Good. Apanasana. Ardha Ekapada Apanasana. Lifting the right knee up, up, up towards the chest. Now bring your left hand to your hip and then just let go and try to keep your knee above your hip and press down gently onto the knee, onto the thigh, and press up with the thigh into the hand. So you're getting a little psoas strengthener here. Lift the chest. You can circle the ankle. And then we'll step down and do the other side. So active in your right leg, pushing into the foot. So you're firming that outer hip to the inside, and then just lifting the left knee. You can bring it up with your hands first. Find a drishti point, and then keep the balance. Right hand to the hip, left hand to the top of the thigh, and just push. Push down gently. And push the thigh up into the hand. Good. And lower down. Good. Okay. And now let's take another longer warrior 3 this time. You can just step into your left foot. Bring your right foot back, so you're connecting head to heel. Reach your arms up overhead. You can also keep your hands at your chest or go back into superhero arms. So whichever works best for you. And just as you hinge forward, make sure you're like a board, like a plank, hinging over the top of that thigh bone. Reaching and really get energy through your right heel. Push back, try to square your hips as much as possible. And then we're gonna step back into Parsvottanasana. So pyramid pose, heel to heel or wider in this direction. And we're gonna lift up and hinge forward and down. Pulling the mat apart with the feet. Come up halfway. Anchor through the feet and legs again, hands to hips, and then all the way up. And step forward, and we'll do the other side. So finding strength in the right. So just a note, I broke my right hip 2.5 years ago, so I'm not as strong yet on that side. So if I falter, you'll know why. I've got metal in there. Step back. You can take whatever arm position you want. Get really energized through the posterior chain muscles. So flex your back foot as you hinge forward. Trying to just create length and energy all along the back of the body. Of course, supporting with the abs as well, and then we're going to step back into Parsvottanasana, drawing the right hip back, left hip goes a little bit forward, and then hinging out over the leg. And then rooting into the feet, come halfway up, Flatten your back, hands to hips, open the chest, and all the way to standing. And then step forward. Good. And so I like to do, after that sort of thing, hula hips, just letting the hips circle around. Just enjoying the motion. A lot of yoga, as I've said to some of my classes, is very linear, and there's not a lot of this kind of smooth movement here. Circular, spiraling motions. Good. Just let your whole body just get a little bit loose. Doing whatever motions feel good to you. Good. And then we're going to come to the mat. So we'll go through a vinyasa. Bringing the arms by your sides, taking the arms up. Exhale, fold. Come halfway up. Step back to plank. You can choose belly or chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Okay, and come to your knees, and then we'll sit back on both legs, and then we'll sit forward into Dandasana. So looking for as straight a spine as possible, an L shape. And if you find that your hips are rocking back, you can bring a blanket underneath your hips like so. I don't really need the blanket, so I'm not going to do it. So Dandasana, open the chest, flex the feet, activate the legs. Good. Okay, and then we're going to just bend the knees and then walk a little bit forward. I need to do that so you can see me. Lean back until your elbows are straight, hanging off the knees. Okay, and then we're just going to lift the knees up and reach forward. And you can stay here, or if you're stronger, draw in on your pit of your belly, and you can take the legs up into Navasana, boat pose. It's tough to keep this out of your outer hips, so you really want to focus on the pit of the belly. And then we'll cross at the ankles and lift the hips. Okay. We'll stay in this cross-legged position. Good. In Sukhasana, my left shin is forward of my right shin. So if you're not in that position, get your left shin in front of your right shin. And we're going to take a simple Sukhasana twist. Bringing the right hand to the right knee and the left hand behind you. Press down into the hand or fingertips, depending on the length of your arm. And then look back behind your left shoulder, opening the chest, but try to pull back a little bit on the right waist. So you're creating a kind of resistance so that your abdomen is facing forward and you're really just twisting from the, say, navel upward. Good. And then we'll come back through center and come back into another Navasana. So you can hold onto the knees until your elbows are relatively straight. Bring your feet up. Good. Reach forward. You can stay there or extend the legs. And then cross with the other shin forward. So bring the right shin forward, lift the hips a little bit. Okay, other shin is forward. So now my right shin is forward. And I'm going to turn to my right, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Looking behind you, press into that hand, draw back on the left waist. So you're creating a little bit of resistance. And then back through center, release. We'll do another Navasana. So coming back, leaning back off the knees, raising the shins, reach out. And if you feel like you can straighten, go ahead. If you don't, keep bent, draw in. Draw the knees close to the chest. Keep the chest nice and open. Keep the face relaxed. And then we'll release it and then lift the hips up. Good. And then take the legs straight out again. Coming into Dandasana, staff pose. Bring the heels a little closer together, arms overhead, and we'll take Paschimottanasana, forward fold. You can reach for the big toes here if you can reach them. If you can't, you can take your chins. And then just try and lift yourself so your back is relatively straight. And then as you exhale, you can go ahead and round a little bit. And inhale, lift, and exhale, round slightly. Lift the chest. And fold. And maybe change the grip so you're holding your outer feet. You can also do this with bent knee, no problem. If you want to get a little bit more of a back stretch, it actually feels really nice to just take the hamstrings out of the equation. I really like to do that. And then you can move towards straight. And lift up and come up. And then we'll take ourselves back to the mat, lower down, and then draw your knees into your chest. Rock on the low back, and then we'll take happy baby, holding the outer or inner feet or big toes, and bring the shins up to be vertical, feet facing the mat. Just letting the lower back lengthen along the mat if you can. Just do your best, looking for a stretch in the hips and along the back of the body. And then bring your feet down as wide as your mat is. Okay, take your arms out into a T position, and then just drop your knees off left and look to your right. So you're in a modified twist here. It's very gentle. You can stretch out the front of the right thigh. And then if you want to hook your heel on your right thigh, you can do that. And pull down a little bit. You'll get a nice stretch through the front of the hip. Looking right, relax your face. And come back to center. And then just drop the knees off to the other side. looking off towards your left. And if you want to hook your heel along the top of that left thigh and pull down a little bit, you can do that, or don't. Again, just paying attention to what feels good for your body. Letting the breath start to calm. The heartbeat begins to slow. As we start to prepare for the final resting pose, Shavasana, arguably the most important pose of the yoga asana. We need to be able to calm our nervous system down, especially in these exceedingly strange times. Let's come back to center. And then extend each leg out one by one. Oops, kitty cat. Arms by your sides, a little away from the body. See if you can have your palms facing up. Just a little bit of a curl in the fingers. And lie flat, let your face relax, your jaw unhinge. Soften the entire body into the floor. Eyes are closed. And I'm going to sing you the Mahamrityunjaya mantra, the victory over death mantra, for your Shavasana while you just relax. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhin Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamratat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhin Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamratat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhin Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamratat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhin Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamratat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhin Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamratat. You can start to deepen your breath and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Take your head from side to side. And draw your knees up towards your chest and roll over to your right side. Rest there for a moment, just letting yourself be soft, soft in your heart, soft towards yourself. And then bring yourself up to a seated position, cross-legged, whatever's comfortable. And bring your right hand to your heart and your left hand on top of your right hand. Letting your awareness just drop to the heart center. Having compassion for yourself, softening towards yourself. And in that softening, offering that to those around you, to those you know, to those you don't know. We are one. Namaste. Thank you for joining me.